I am broadcasting on all AM frequencies. I will be at the South Street Seaport every day at midday, when the sun is highest in the sky. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food, I can provide shelter, I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.
Hey, what's up everybody, Radx here, the one from 72, the ultra neutral, and I should be introducing myself more as the Alcor Star Child because that is what I am. When I introduce myself as Rat X, that's because of the year 1972 was the year of the rat, and because of Generation X. When I say the one from 72, because I am the one person from 1972 that's sharing this information, which makes me the Alcor. So Alcor actually sums up a lot of that stuff together. So, but anyhow, this is one of the most put off videos that I have been just putting on the back burner and haven't put it together yet. And I needed to share this with you because it's important. You need to know this as a human, hopefully as a sentient being, and not as a drone, which a lot of humans are drones, and not very many are as sentient as you would like. But for those of you who are more of a sentient being, those of you who are not in the box, right? Those of you who do not have to check all the boxes, so that way it makes up your character of who you are. But those of you who are actually of a free will, that's the reason why people talk about we don't have free will anymore. This information will apply to you. And the reason why I say that is because telekinesis and telepathy was stolen from you. It wasn't stolen from the drones of the humans that are out there who there's really nothing to them. There's no substance to that person. That person is everything that the boxes have been checked. There is nothing more to that person. That is all that they are. That's all they will ever will be. When they perish, it may be possible that there is nothing to pass on. There's nothing that goes anywhere because there was nothing there in the first place. It's almost like when people say that they're NPCs. So for those of you who are not that, those of you who do not fall in the category of having to make sure that you check boxes to create the identity of the character that you're supposed to play in this game of life that's been presented to you, this information is for you because the telepathy and the telekinesis was stolen from you. And it was stolen thousands of years ago from the genetic tampering of the human species. Now, when you die, and you will most likely go, hopefully, maybe to into your original core being, who you were before you came into the human experience. Maybe you are a Palladian, which is also a type of a human who has these abilities. But hopefully you don't have to circle back and come back into this, this locked human experience with the drones and everything else, the puppets, I think is a better way to point it out. So the telepathy is something that almost every human experiences. However, those who do check those boxes most likely probably don't really experience even the slight bit of the telepathy. But most of the people who are, sentient real beings, they have had telepathic moments. And I don't mean the hokey charlatans who are out there trying to sell you oils or trying to sell you different things to say it, sell you books or whatever to say, that they're using telepathy and they can tell you where grandmother left a gold ring somewhere in the backyard, right? I'm talking about true telepaths. A telepath, especially somebody who has, real gifts, they don't sell that gift. That is something more precious. They don't try to bank a profit off of it. It's something that a lot of times will just come to them out of nowhere and just happen, right? As the case it did with me, and as it does with others. And some people have, these like little glimpses. I call them glimpses of telepathy. And what I mean by that is just before somebody calls, you were just thinking about them. Now, you weren't thinking about them all day long. You weren't thinking about them yesterday or the day before that. In fact, there was nothing of significance of why they should even at all get a hold of you. And that's the reason why people would use the term, your ears must have been burning. So, and that has become such a cliche thing that people just write it off as just it's just a by chance type thing that happened. The by chance thing of happening like that would be of such a rare event that if it was just by chance, it would be such a rare event that there never would have been a cliche term like your ears are burning, right? When you think about it, because there has obviously been enough encounters of people saying, hey, that's happened to me, and that's happened to me, then it becomes pattern. And when it becomes pattern, then people will try to explain it away because they don't want to look at what may be the possible. The obvious is that people actually, just ordinary, regular people, also have telepathy. You think that only the person who is sitting there playing with these cards with the funny pictures on them, the tarot cards, and flipping them, which by the way comes from the Jupiters, that they're the only ones that have these abilities. And I even question 99% of those people if they have telepathic abilities or not anyhow. And also they're selling you something. They had to buy the cards to sell you the information. So for those people who do experience that, the ears are burning, all of a sudden you think of somebody and then boom, they call. That is actually the glimpse. It's a glimpse. That should tell you, how do I get that back? People don't ask, how do I get that back? How do I get that to happen more often? They just go right into the cliche, oh, my ears might have been burning, and then it's just gone, right? And they don't think about it ever again until it happens again later on in life. Why don't humans spend more time trying to understand, how did that even happen, right? How is that even possible? That's happened to me a few times in my life. That happened last year, maybe a couple years, and start trying to recount when those events have occurred, and to recount, your entire day before that, to recount everything that you did, what you ate, how'd you sleep, what events happened, to find out, is there a pattern that triggers your telepathy? Instead, it became a cliche of, oh, your ears are burning. So that doesn't help the humans evolve forward. And telepathy is by far one of the things that humans need to evolve forward. The species spends so much time worrying about technology that they think that that's their way of evolution, to merge with machine. That is not the evolution of man. That is a subpar place bono for what humans would be if they were to actually evolve. Evolving is from within. It's not from external things. Okay? And I'm going to explain how all of this stuff is going to make sense here when I start talking about, what it means to have advanced telepathy. And then we're going to tackle the telekinesis and what it means to have advanced telekinesis. And it's a good possibility, and I'm going to touch on telekinesis real fast. It's a good possibility the moment that you're able to move one small thing, to move a napkin, to make it just move just a little, or to take a ping pong ball, the best way to test yourself. And you'd have to do this and spend a lot of time to try to get your mind to separate yourself from yourself, to become part of that ball, to wheel that ball to actually just move. The moment you can get that ball to move 1 inch, you have cracked the door. The door gets kicked open. It's not going to be always just a little inch here, a little inch there, and then maybe a foot. Once you move the 1 inch, once you get that one little movement to happen, that's it. It all opens up for you in telekinesis. It'll blossom like a beautiful flower, a bud to a flower. So when you hear people who try to even, fake their telekinesis, which is very hard to do, but people who try to fake their telekinesis, once somebody's able to display that, they're able to display a whole array of things that I'm going to go through with telekinesis. You're going to go, wow, what the hell? Really? This is telekinesis? Yes, this is telekinesis, and I'm going to explain it to you. So let's go back to telepathy before I ramble on any much longer, because I'm already almost 10 minutes into this, and I haven't even touched on the points that I made about advanced telepathy. So first of all, telepathy, humans who have advanced telepathy, and this happens with all the species out there who have advanced telepathy, I'm almost 100% sure. And this information actually comes from what I'm talking about right now with this comes from the reptilian woman. And so when people, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing with defending reptilians, but you hear the reptilian woman, she actually helps you try to understand telepathy and how to understand telekinesis. But this information here on mother to baby telepathy comes from her. And then now I'm going to go even deeper into that. So what she says is that from Lassiter, she says that from the baby, when the baby is, I think 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks into the mother's belly, the mother already starts having a telepathic connection with the baby inside of her belly. That right there should tell you right from the very beginning that when telepathy was taken from you as a human species, that it already disconnects the mother from the child right away, right from the very beginning. And the thing is that when you really think about it, why wouldn't the mother be able to connect with the baby in her belly? And I don't mean feeling the baby moving around stuff. I mean a true mental connection. Her brain, that baby's brain, is evolving inside of that mother's body. It is the closest thing that two brains are ever going to be connected. The very closest thing that two brains are ever going to be connected, other fact of external and having Siamese twins, but I'm talking even the twins have to come from a mother's belly. Okay, so what I'm talking about is the fact that they share heartbeat together. They share brain waves together. So there should be a symbiotic mind that is connecting with the child, with the baby inside of the belly. So that telekinesis from the beginning of 8 weeks inside, I'm just going to go with that number 8 because of the infinity sign. But anyhow, that number 8 weeks inside of the mother's belly, just starting to form and come into itself, would automatically start learning as a child inside of your mother's belly. You were already learning about the world that your mother has seen, that she's seen in front of her, learning from her memories, learning from her experiences. You're already learning and sharing these things that your mother has already been a part of, which is another thing too, which also would solve a lot of issues with, first of all, abortion, would solve also issues with just frivolously having sex, unprotected sex, and not just having children just to have children and just pumping them out. And also the mother be very careful as a woman of how she conducts herself in the world, because she knows that eventually she's going to have this life inside of her who's going to share her memories. So it would in turn make her a better person. But however, the mother also gives birth to males, right? So then the males would also have to be better people in the world as well too, because they have shared these memories with their mothers. And that also would solve domestic violence, abuse against women, because the connection is there already before you even come out of your mother's belly. Your humanity is at its peak from the very beginning. You don't come out disconnected. You are there with your mother. Okay, so you're part of her at this point. So also, through the full 9 months of being in your mother's belly, you're going to already learn how to speak, how things work, basic things and stuff like that. Maybe not advanced knowledge, but just the basics. Even learning, most likely, how to walk before you're even out of the belly. Understanding the mechanics of just walking, the simple basic things that humans have to learn like speech and walking and all these other things once they're born, it will already be in you. It'll already be imprinted in you as a infant inside of the mother's belly. I forgot the technical term for fetus. There you go. Feed us as in feed us, like feed us food. Okay, so anyhow, feed us knowledge, feed us food, feed us, oxygen, feed us life, feed us, the fetus inside of the mother's belly. So yeah, so telepathy from the very, very beginning, before you even come out of your mother's belly, is going to connect you with, humanity itself, right from the very beginning. So let's talk about what the other parts of advanced telepathy is going to be like. So you're already born with wisdom, because that's one of my points here on my board, that you're already born with some basic wisdom, basic knowledge. Once you start going to school, if there are schools, or if you even need schools, let's say that there is maybe not so much as schools, but just villages where children actually gather together, right? Maybe there are parents and other adults who collect together. You don't have like one teacher in a schoolroom with a bunch of kids. It may just very well be that communities just come together. Okay, all the children are going to go, throughout the day, whatever, they're spending a lot of time together playing and stuff like that. And the parents are also there, some of the parents are there and spending time with them too. And I'm not saying that people won't have jobs and won't be doing work and doing other things. That's also true too, but there won't be that disconnect, right? That you get up in the morning, you go through the routine where now your child is going off to school, you're packing their lunch, you kiss them goodbye, they get on the bus and they leave, and you don't know what the hell is going on. And they're gone for 8 hours or whatever, however long school is right now these days. I don't know. It's been so long since I've been to school. And then you go to work and you're away from that child, and that child has no idea where you're at or what you're doing. You all just assume that you're going to be in the places of where you're supposed to be. Child in school, parents at work, right? Well, advanced telepathy, there will not be that disconnect. Even if the parent is going somewhere else, like to a job or whatever, and the child is going to stay and be around other children and be at some type of congregate thing where, the parents who did stay behind to hang out with the children and stuff and spend time with the children, or the older children that spend time with the children, there still won't be the disconnect of, where is my mother, where is my father, that the telepathy will, and that's another thing too, I missed point as well. So, love, this is also, and I don't really get into all the love stuff, but this is also from the very beginning in the belly, and I missed this, I'm sorry, I had to back up. From the very beginning inside of the mother's belly, the love that the mother feels for the father, and that's also another thing too, like I said, people will have children through love, and not because of, oops, I made a mistake, or, oh, it's just something I just did for fun or whatever, and now all of a sudden I had this baby. They will do it through love, because the child is going to know that from inside the belly. And if the mother, and of course the mother is going to love the father, the child is automatically going to love the father too and be connected to the father. And maybe even so, that there may be even a point that the father may even be able to connect telepathically through the mother to the child inside of the belly, at some point in time while the mother is still pregnant. This is all advanced telepathy. Okay. So now we're going to get back to the present on here. So as a child, let's say you're about 8 years old. So I'm just going to stay in the 8s. So as a child, you're 8 years old, and you're spending time hanging out with other children. There is going to be, and maybe there's, a lot of kids get together and they do things and they have fun and they have a good time. And some of the parents are there, overseeing, make sure everything's going okay, and helping teaching the children and stuff about more things about life and stuff. And so at this point, there will never be ever a school shooting. That would never, ever once happen. There will never be somebody who is a serial killer or somebody who is going to commit children crimes. You will never, ever, ever, ever have to worry about that. And the reason why is everybody in the community all have telepathy. There will never be shut your mouth, don't say anything. Your minds will always be there to connect. You will connect with your father, who may be on the other side of the world doing something else, maybe even on another world, a different planet. I don't know how far that telepathy would reach. And you will be able to connect with your mother, who may be somewhere else, working or doing something or whatever. So you're always, as a child, always connected with them. As long as you leave that bridge open as a child, as long as they keep that bridge open, that telepathic bridge open between you, you will always be connected. They will always know when you're in danger. You will always know when they're in danger. So those things will never, ever, absolutely 100% never happen, because there'll never be a disconnect. Now, as an 8-year-old child and spending more time with other children, you're also going to be telepathically connected with all these other children. And I'm not saying that you won't have verbals and you won't play and you won't talk and you won't sing and you won't have a good time and things like that as a child, but you all also still will be telepathically connected as well. If some child feels slighted or feels in some type of way that that child is feeling maybe abandonment, that probably will never even happen, in fact, or feeling like maybe like an spike of anger towards another child, all the other children and the parents and everybody in the room and everybody in the area will know that this child is hurting. And the child that even may have offended the other child in some type of way, I don't know how that would happen, but let's say that that child did, that child would also know that, and be able to feel the other child's pain, so that everyone can be there to help make it right before it festers, before it turns into a dark pit, right? Until, something horrible happens, like violence against your own species. This is why the other advanced species out there are far more connected and far more in control than the human species here on Earth. Because of that type of telepathy helps them to understand one another, helps them to, conquer a common goal together, and helps them to not have, anger or animosity towards one another, wars and all these things, and, and fighting against each other and stuff. I'm not saying that there won't be combat, and I will talk about that in a minute. There's a difference between combat and war. Okay. As children, you're already going to be connected to other children, and you'll be connected to old children, you'll be connected to the parents and other people and stuff like that, and you'll grow with this, right? And you'll grow with this. Now, at some point in time, with your advanced telepathy, and I'm not saying in school or the type of school stuff you won't learn things, right? Children, I think they say by the age of 8 years old anyhow, I think it's like 8, maybe it's 12, whatever. I think it's 8 years old, that what a child is going to be as an adult already, it develops in them by the time they're 8 years old. So you're already automatically at, as a very young age, be seeking, and those out there who are, let's say, in the type of a field of whatever you're going to become, whatever you're going to be, whatever your interests are. Let's say your interests are in music, right? That child will already start connecting with other musicians out there, and those musicians out there will connect with that child, and they will gravitate towards one another until they can help that being now grow and become the best at that thing, and to keep pushing whatever it is that they're doing forward. Whatever it is, it can be anything. It can be, woodworking. I'm going to go do something as basic as woodworking. Whatever it is that the child is going to become, they'll become better at it than what humans are now at things, because things won't be hidden away from you, right? Secrets, patents on something. Having a patent on something says, this is mine and you can't copy it. I made this, you didn't. I'm going to now, the thing that I made, I'm going to now put a price on it to sell to somebody, to sell to people, because they are not able to make it, right? That will go away too with advanced telepathy, because those people who are all in the field of woodworking will all share the secrets together of how to make things better, which also means in turn those who are newer, the children who minds are just now are further more evolving and stuff, and their imagination is stronger maybe or whatever, that they may have come up with things that those who are already advanced into the woodworking world, the children will maybe find something different, and then now they're all sharing that from that child, and they're all learning to push it forward. So children will be welcomed into the world because of new ideas, right? And adding it to the pool of the humanity moving forward. This is what you are missing as an advanced species, right? Getting the advanced telepathy. So I think you kind of understand that, and the fact of, the children and stuff. So yeah, so I covered, let's see here, I need to go down my list here. Sorry guys. No such thing as children crimes. Children will be safe among your own species. Intellect by the time you're 12 years old to be that of a Harvard professor. Okay, yeah, so another point that I wrote down too is by the time the child is 12 years old, exactly what I was just talking about, all those things, sharing those type of knowledge and stuff. By the time a child with advanced telepathy and a species of advanced telepathy is 12 years old, they'll be further along than a Harvard professor right now, today, on this planet. People who are considered extremely smart. A 12-year-old, anyone by the time that they're 12 years old will be further past any of those people, because those people are still locked into self, and they're not able to, once they will even hide their secrets of mathematical equations and things like that, and their discoveries, until they're ready to present it, so that they can get a Nobel Prize, they can get funding, they can get something out of it, right? They just don't share it just to share it. They keep it to themselves. But in a species of advanced telepathy, that is not so. And so because of that knowledge is so much shared with telepathy and moving the species, the entire human species forward, that a 12-year-old will already be further along advanced than all your most intelligent minds in whatever field that 12-year-old is going to be involved in, right? And like I said, we'll just go back to the woodworking. The furthest, the most elaborate, architect, or we can just, let's go architect. That's actually better. Let's say the most elaborate architect who makes the most crazy amount of money for making the most insane buildings or whatever. A 12-year-old child will be, from an advanced telepathy, will be further along advanced than that person there. And so that's what I mean. So the children are going to be very, very important for the overall of the entire species, because of the fact that new ideas will be coming in through these children and sharing their ideas with the people who at one time were also children, shared their ideas with the people who also at one time shared. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you keep going further along, down and down and down and down the pipe, and until you get to the point to where the first person who created the thing, right? The first person to have made the thing and had shared that with those around him who were interested in to continuing that thing. Well, it just keeps blossoming further and further and further. And that's because of somebody's idea who was fresh. And that's this whole thing with advanced telepathy and how the species would move way further than you are now. And this is one of the things that helps keep this planet a prison planet, helps keep you locked down, it helps keep you. So anybody who's out there saying, these other advanced species are for you, really, they're not, unless they have already unlocked all this stuff. So whoever is controlling everything, which I already pretty much know, for the most part, they have taken this from you to keep you down, because they already have all of this. Everything that I'm talking about, they have it. They are able to do it. Now, I'm not saying that there's not species out there who want to step in and intervene, but obviously somebody is controlling this planet and controlling the humans, and somebody who's kept it away from you. And by the way, it comes in some textbooks, and I won't go through all that, because they actually demonize telepathy in a lot of the religious textbooks. This is what you're missing, right? They want you to be separated from each other and to say, I'm going to a better place when I die, and you will most likely go to a bad place when you die if you don't go with me. Instead of giving you and unlocking your mind and giving you this, there is no better place than right here and right now if you are able to have your advanced telepathy and telekinesis. That's being taken from you. It's been stolen from you. It's been locked away. It's in your mind, but it's locked down in there, and you just cannot see it. You cannot use it. It's been taken away from you. Okay, so I'm going to move down the list here. Let's see here. By the time you're an adult, far beyond any schooling known to man. Okay, so yeah, by the time that you're an adult, so we talked about from fetus to 8 years old to 12 years old, and now into adulthood. By the time you're an adult, in a species of advanced telepathy, let's say the humans, if they had advanced telepathy, by the time you're an adult, there is no one on this planet right now that, and I'm speaking for the regular humans now, that would be anywhere near to keep up with the intelligence. Nobody, not an entire panel of people, not an entire group of the smartest minds ever would be able to keep up with one adult mind from that advanced telepathy. Not one. They could not keep up with one. One person that comes from that community of advanced telepathy, comes from that world of advanced telepathy, what you're supposed to be. They would be further along. Everything, they would be already 5, 10, 15 steps ahead of everything that you're going to ask, everything that you want from them. They already will be able to anticipate all of that stuff and be further along, more advanced than you can even possibly imagine. You can't even imagine the intelligence that one adult, by the time you become an adult, just one adult, that's how smart and intelligent they would be. Because nothing was hidden. Nothing was, obscure. It was all out there. It was everybody shared together. The species shared together. And so that's another thing too, like people who want to try to sell books and sell this and all this stuff, try to sell information. There would be no such thing as selling information. And that's also, the people who are supposedly more intelligent people on this planet make more money than everyone else, right? Because their intelligence has a value on it. That is not so in an advanced telepathic community. It's just not so, because everyone is sharing that. And here on this planet where you're all separated, it's just not possible. It's not possible. You would never be able to keep up with these people. They would be so much far advanced. And this could be you. This was what's taken from you. All right, so let's move on past that. Yeah, so by the time you're an adult, you're far more advanced than anyone on this planet. Let's see here. Next was no need for internet when you learn to tap into the species collective wave. Okay, so the other thing is too, that advanced telepathy will create a wave, right? Like, remember when I was talking about how there is the mother and the fetus inside of her are already connecting, but through the father may also be able to connect to the child inside of the belly by his telepathy pinging. We'll say like ping, I'll make it so it makes it a little bit more technical for you to understand. His telepathic message will ping off of the mother and into her belly, into the fetus, to his child, and then the child's in turn telepathic communication will ping off of the mother's telepathy into the father. Now this type of ping will create a wave, a telepathic wave throughout the entire planet. In other words, all the humans on the planet will be able to ping from human to human to human to human to human to create a wave, a telepathic wave throughout the entire world. Which does that mean? That is just like the internet. That means you wouldn't need the internet. You absolutely would not need the internet, because telepathy is not just hearing stuff, but actually seeing stuff, right? Like, what am I seeing right now? So we have people today, and this 1972 is when I won't go through all 1972 stuff. There's already a bunch of stuff I could already hit on that. But today they call them remote viewers, right? People who are using a telepathic ability to see what somebody else is seeing. And this is true. It really happens. And we've seen 1010 demonstrate that live on a couple of videos that I've done. So the, remote viewers are able to see what somebody else is seeing. Now, with advanced telepathy, it will be way stronger than what any remote viewer is able to do right now. Like right now, they see things in kind of a fuzzy type. It's there. It's kind of like tuning in, trying to focus in something, right? It comes in, it goes out, comes in, it goes out. Well, an advanced telepathy, remote viewing will be as if you're literally standing right there with them. You are that person. You're looking through their eyes. You're right there, provided they allow you to see through their eyes. I gotta make it clear that, and some people may think, oh, it might be scary because I'll never be able to have like my own memories to myself or something, that I don't want to share with other people. That's not true. You will also be able to keep some things, to yourself, right? There'll be things that are forbidden for others to look into your mind that you can keep deep, back in the back of your mind. Now, does that mean that somebody could do something sinister and like theft? We'll just go to theft, right? Why would theft be really almost a non-existent thing? Because people would already read your intentions before you're going to do them. So they already know if somebody's trying to steal something, whatever. And so I'm not saying that wouldn't happen, but it would be extremely, extremely rare. So yes, you will be able to keep some things in the back of your mind that the rest of the species will not be able to go there in your mind, unless they were to collectively come together and dig into your mind as connecting their, like a big wave of telepathic communication. And maybe like a circle of humans would stand around this one human, and they'd just be like, we're going to get it out of you. We'll get it out of you because we'll just put you in a circle. And once you go into a circle, maybe, let's say, I like the number 12. We'll put a number of 12 because 12 men on a jury, and in a circle, a telepathic wave in that circle, honing in and focusing in on the one person in the middle, they may be able to grab that outside of that, to dig deep inside of that person and pull that out, right? And it could maybe even collapse that person's mind and do damage to them. So it might be something that they want to do, because once they start doing that, and here's the kicker, once they start doing that, they're all going to also feel that person's pain, and they'll also understand why that person even did the thing that they did, and they're all going to feel that too. So there's a lot at stake, not just for the person who committed the crime, but there's a lot at stake for those who are going to come together in that 12, that circle of 12, to pull that out. Now, I'm not saying this is all absolutely true. What I'm saying is this seems apparent to me. This is pretty much how advanced telepathy would work. So I'm just giving you kind of a type of a guidelines of how these things may possibly work. So yeah, so that's how you would pull stuff out. So I'm not saying that you can't keep those things away from people. So let's get back to the telepathic wave. So that telepathic wave and being able to have advanced remote viewing, which they call remote viewing, will let somebody in America, if somebody in Japan is seeking in that telepathic wave, seeking that telepathic wave for somebody out there to see something that they're seeing. Oh my God, I really want somebody to see this, like this. I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is beautiful. And I would like to share, there's other people here in Japan, but I'd like somebody here. I would like somebody over in the other part of the planet to share, what I'm seeing, to be able to see what I'm seeing. And they could just put that out there in that telepathic wave, that feeler. And so somebody from Sweden may pick up on it. Somebody from America may pick up on it. Somebody from Germany may pick up on it. Somebody in Africa may pick up on it. And they'll all be able to see what that person is seeing through that telepathic wave. They'll all be able to share that experience of what that person is seeing. You know, even if it's not just like something of beauty that they're seeing out there, maybe it's a tragedy, you know, something that has fallen, you know, maybe there's a problem that needs to be solved, and they're putting that feeler out there. So now those who want to pick up on that wave can pick up on it and help that person understand how to solve that problem, or they could all share in seeing that type of beauty. You don't need the internet anymore. It's the same thing, except for now you're not paying for it. Except for now you're not polluting your planet with, you know, these cables under the ocean, or putting, you know, things on your water towers, you know, or doing any of this stuff that's harmful to the birds, to the animals, to one another. These things that are damaging you, that are damaging the human species, so that way you can have more information, right? And it's the information I'm sharing right now comes from those damaging external devices. We would never need any of that stuff with advanced telepathy. You will all be able to share all these things, these puzzles, all this stuff. And even if it's somebody's, let's say somebody wasn't there to see that event as it was occurring, but it was now part of a telepathic wave of a memory, and tapping into, you know, has anybody ever seen this thing before? You know, and then you try to, you've put that out in the telepathic wave, and now you pull that up as a telepathic memory, or somebody's imagination, you know, or something that somebody's drawing. All this information through a telepathic wave, these waves that engulf the entire planet from the humans sharing advanced telepathy. This is what's been taken from you. This is what has been taken from you. And for humans to think that, oh, we're evolving because we're using external devices like the internet and computers and cell phones, all these things. And cell phones, you wouldn't need those either. That would be gone. You absolutely would never need a cell phone. Think of how clean the planet would be. Think of the less garbage. When you go outside and you walk down the street and you see these ugly telephone lines everywhere, and you see these ugly telephone poles and these ugly things that have destroyed the environment, and you know, and you see videos, heartbreaking videos of where people make these videos of bears and different animals and wildcats and stuff and squirrels and things that climb up the telephone poles and they get shocked to death and they die. All this is causing damage and harm to the planet because advanced telepathy was taken from you. Think of that. These things are not helping you evolve. They're not devolving you, but they're keeping you in check. They're keeping you in order. They're keeping you in a set position as a human. And the humans just want more and more technology. Oh, I need virtual tech. I need, the V goggles now. I need this, I need that. I need all these things, you know. So that way they feel like they're evolving. You won't need that. You absolutely will not need that with advanced telepathy. Okay, so let me see here. Where was I at? Let me move down the list here. No need for an internet. Okay, so I covered that. Once you have met someone face to face and you share their wave, you can connect anywhere. Okay, so this is also something else too, right? Let's say that you meet somebody. Okay, well, of course you meet somebody, but the people that you meet, no matter where they are in the world, it does not matter. And I mean a face-to-face. Once you meet with somebody face-to-face, it doesn't matter anywhere in the world that they're at. You can always put a feeler out there and you won't even really need the telepathic. Well, I guess you would kind of need the telepathic wave to ping to get to that person, and they can get back to you. You can always connect with them, provided they want to be connected. Like you can just, I'm sure that you'd be able to shut yourself off to quiet things up, right? To keep things quiet so that way, but they would still feel and know that you're alive. They would know that you're okay. They can feel it, but they wouldn't be open to a telepathic discussion. sharing telepathy, information back and forth. They can just still feel that you're alive. I think a good way to explain this is for those of you who ever watched Star Wars, and I think when a lot of people die, right, and they call it the Force, okay, and like a whole planet of people died, like the Force, like all the people who were Jedis, they all felt that, right? They would all feel like, oh, a whole bunch of people just died. They felt it. Well, that type of connection would be the same thing. By the way, a lot of that has to do with the Jupiters talking about that. But that type of connection would also be the same that you would have with somebody that you have just met face to face, that you already know their well-being. Also, let's say something happens to them, they get hurt, they get knocked unconscious, and now they're considered off grid. Now they're off grid, off the wave, and are knocked unconscious because they fell down a cave and their head got hurt. You can feel that they're hurting, but you can't connect with them. What's going on? Why can't I connect with them? They're hurting. They're in danger. And now you can ping off of the telepathic wave of the last person that's seen them, wherever they were at. Oh, last time I saw them, they were at the convenience store or wherever, at the market. And they said that they were going to this cave to explore. Okay, so now you won't have to try to rush there. Of course, you're going to try to get there to get to them, but you could put that out to the others who are in that area that this person may be in danger. And others will be able to feel maybe what you're feeling, that you can feel that, okay, so they're unconscious. We cannot get this telepathy to come back. The last thing we knew, they went off alone. And we can all feel that there's some type of a pain, something, they're hurting, and they're unconscious. So that would make people act more. That's also another thing too. Missing people would be a very rare thing. There would be no such thing as an Amber Alert. It could be very rare with advanced telepathy, because people would collectively be able to come together to help find somebody if they're hurt or missing, or maybe out to sea or whatever. So yeah, so that's once you're face to face with somebody, once you have that connection with them, and you will be able to connect with them stronger than you will be somebody you've never met on another side of the planet. Of course, you can all share that telepathic wave. You can still feel, you can still have, share feelings, stuff like that. But I think face to face and actually physically there with somebody that you're actually met physically, you will have a much stronger connection than you will with somebody you've never seen ever in your life, never met in your life. So yeah, so that makes a lot of sense for the face-to-face with the advanced telepathy. So moving on down the list, you can learn to keep some thoughts private from others. However, intentions are not hidden. Okay, yeah, I covered that when I was talking about, theft and stuff like that. That the fact that, somebody, like if your intentions are to come and hurt somebody, to steal something from somebody, or just to hurt somebody, those intentions most likely will be stronger. Feelings will be stronger than, because your feelings and your thoughts are not always the same, right? Like you have thoughts that are disconnected from your feelings. Your feelings of rage, of anger, or of deceitfulness, or these things that are ugly, those things, when they're overbearing, right? When you plan to just do something really bad, that becomes an overwhelming feeler, right? That becomes an overwhelming aura that will be coming out from you. And so the person that you're planning to victimize, they're going to feel that before you even get a chance. It's not the same as, like I'm saying, when you try to hide something deep down, like an intimate moment that you had with somebody, like your intimate moments and stuff like that. Those are things that you can keep away. Other people are not going to want to invade that anyhow. They won't want to invade that type of stuff because, that would make you feel maybe ashamed that somebody's doing that. You're like, oh, it's my private moment. And that person would feel their invasion. They would feel that type of shame as well. So now it's going to go back on them too. So they wouldn't want to do it to you. So you wouldn't want to do it to them. So those type of things I'm talking about, you'll be able to keep to yourself. I'm not saying all your stuff is going to be, your laundry's all going to be out there. But what I am saying is that if you have, ill intentions towards somebody, to do them harm, to steal something from them or whatever, people are going to feel that. And let's say somebody, most likely it won't be like desperation moments, but let's say possibly somebody has a desperation moment that they want to steal something from somebody, maybe to get some food or whatever, which also world hunger will be gone. And I'm going to talk about that in telekinesis as well. But, if you think about it, the people, when somebody is hungry, they're hurting, and others are going to feel their hunger. They're going to feel their pain for food. So the person won't have to try to steal to get something to eat, or try to steal for their child, for God's sakes. That would never happen, because everybody's going to they collectively come together for their children. They would feel that. And that's another thing too, right? Like sarcasm. Sarcasm would be gone. Sarcasm is an ugly thing. I don't like it. I've never liked it. I've never cared for it. There have been times that I've caught myself using sarcastic moments, and I think immediately to myself, wow, I shouldn't have said that. That was awful. That's a slight towards a human being in a very clever type of way to try to undertone it, but also at the same time, what I meant. And that is something that would most likely just be gone. There would be no such thing as sarcasm. Those type of things are harmful to hurt people, to put people down, to try to, make people feel ashamed, to make somebody embarrassed. Those things would all be gone. Now, I'm not saying that this type of advanced telepathy, everybody's just going to be, we're all just going to love and peace and hug and, what they call peace and chicken grease. I don't know what the hell all that means, but it doesn't mean that everything is going to be that way. Of course, there's going to be people who are going to have frustrations. Of course, there's people who are going to have, other types of feelings and stuff. And of course, you will have anger. That's not to say that anger will not be robbed from you. You have the right to be angry about something. Okay? The anger, you have a right to have that. That's part of being a human being. That's part of species throughout the galaxy. Anger, love. This thing would see it on the movies on television where, aliens are just type of a drone type species. That is because the humans are really having a hard time understanding that, if there are beings out there are so much more further advanced with, telepathy, their emotions will be even way more stronger than humans' emotions now. And sorrow and pain and sense of loss. Those things will still be there, but you won't be having to deal with it alone. You won't be disconnected. I mean, there's such thing as psychiatrists. Why the hell would you need a psychiatrist? Of course, there'll be people to talk to and stuff like that, because you'll already be connected in a telepathic wave. You won't have to go to an office, sit down and try to explain to somebody what you're feeling. Like, you won't have to. That's all that garbage is garbage. It's all crap. And trying to medicate somebody and trying to make them not have emotions. We're gonna help fix your emotions. We got a pill for that. That's like one of the sayings I like to say. I got a pill for that. You need a car? We got a pill for that. You're hungry? We got a pill for that. Yeah, there's a pill for everything in this disgusting humanity that we live in right now. They have a pill for everything. That'll all be gone. A pill for your emotions? That will be gone. Somebody writing a prescription because, you can't connect with other humans, that will be gone. And also, I'm not saying that there won't be some people who will be born nonverbal, right? Maybe a lot of people will be born nonverbal. Just choose not to speak verbally. But they'll be able to connect mentally. And so these things, this is all important part of advanced telepathy of what you have lost. What has been taken from you. All right, so I'm going to keep moving down the list here. Let's see here. Private thoughts, intentions. Okay, so we went through intentions, which that also means as well, why would you need police officers? You wouldn't need it. Why would you need a criminal justice system? You wouldn't need it. This is all garbage. Why putting a person in a jail cell? You wouldn't need it. Handcuffs, you wouldn't need it. All these type of things that are ugly in humanity. The things that people do that are what we consider crimes are as ugly as what the people who do to lock them up. The police and the criminals are both ugly. These are ugly stains on humanity. And if you cannot understand that, and you say, oh, how can you live without police officers? Without somebody to correct everyone, to punish people, then that's because you have no place in a world with humans or any beings that have advanced telepathy. You have no place in that world. You deserve to be right here where you are now. To be monitored, to be controlled, because you obviously don't have your own. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people who may do, I'm not saying crimes won't happen, but you won't need police officers. The people themselves will come together to figure out what happened, what went wrong. How did this person get to this point in a circle of 12? And they will feel the things that person went through to go down that path. And then that'll help do more corrections to the humanity, and not and understanding, and not to punish that person. Oh, we're going to stick you in a jail. We're going to stick you in a box. They will also help that person feel what the victim felt. So now that person is feeling what the victim felt, kind of like what Ghost Rider does, but not in that type of severity way, or like The Crow, but also not in that severity type of way. But they will have them feel that, right? So all these ugly things that have to do with these systems, the education system, the medical system, the correction system, these systems are in place to lock you down as a human being, to keep you from evolving. This is what's been taken from you. Okay, so I'm going to move on here. Understand and connect with all animals and learn from them. Most likely you'll stop eating animals. So not only will your advanced telepathy connect you with the rest of the world and all the other humans and stuff like that, which I already went through, and stop school shootings and everything else, and all these things where people do horrific crimes to each other, and they can also share beauty and things and all the beautiful things that they can learn from each other and stuff like that. But you will also be able to connect with animals. And I thought very deeply into this. Some animals may, like, for each individual person, each individual human, I think that, and I could be wrong about this, but I think each individual human would be more connected to one type of species as animal than all the rest of the animals on the planet. Now, you'll be able to be telepathically connected with the other animals on the planet, but there'll be one specific type of animal that you will be in tune with more than others, right? So let's say it's a squirrel, right? Let's say that your advanced telepathy lets you connect with all the other animals out there. Chickens, cows, donkeys, horses, cats, dogs, elephants, turtles, rhinoceros, alligators, you name it, all the animals out there, you'll be able to connect with them. But there may be, for some reason, you're able to connect with squirrels in a way that you don't connect with the other animals. Like, you have this telepathic way of understanding other animals, stuff like that. But for some reason, you're able to really connect with squirrels. Like, you and the squirrel are almost like one, right? Like, squirrels are all like, the squirrels will you're a squirrel girl. You're the squirrel, so you're very connected to them. Well, those people everybody who has their certain spirit animal, we'll just go down that path. Everybody who has their certain spirit animal, those who want to pursue the life of spending more time with that animal and understanding that animal and doing more things with that animal and almost living like that animal, will learn from the animal. Now, telepathy with animals, and I explained this before in another video, actually in a couple of videos, but I'll kind of touch on it real fast now. Telepathy with animals is not like an animal giving you a sentence. They're not, it's like saying, "Hey, Charlie, how you doing? How you doing today, Lucy?" And you say, "Oh, hey, how you doing, little squirrely?" Or whatever name you have for them. It's not that. and having a conversation. The connection with animals are completely different than the connection that you have with humans. The connection with animals are you're feeling their emotions, their wants, their needs, their fears, their excitements, their anxieties, that you are feeling the things that they're feeling, and they're feeling the things that you're feeling in a way that you know them and they know you. Because this is how animals connect with one another out in the world. All animals already have telepathy, and I talked about this a year and a half ago in a video called I Shouldn't Talk About This. So all animals have telepathy, and that's how they connect. And I don't mean as in you look at that animal and you can read what that animal is feeling by looking at them. I mean that you're not even looking at that animal. That animal is not looking at you. You'd be going somewhere in the jungle and you're seeking out to look for a panther because for some reason you're connected to panthers and you can feel there's a panther in the area. You know that they're there. You can feel them, kind of like the Highlander thing. I don't know if you guys know about that. But you can feel that there's a panther. There's a panther somewhere around here. I know that they're there. I feel this panther is there. I can feel them. Now the panther is now able to start feeling you. And you're feeling each other. And so now you start moving closer and you find your way through this jungle to this panther. And this panther is trying to find you and seek you out. And maybe the panther shows up with a bunch of little baby panthers. So now you got a whole little family of panthers who just seeked you out in the jungle and you found them. And you come up to that panther and you sit down to that panther. That panther comes up, sits down next to you. The babies come play. Little baby panthers come sit in your lap. And now you're just enjoying being with this panther, right? You're now together, right? Like there's this sense of we're going to figure things out together. So, I'm actually going to talk about advanced telekinesis later. And this video has gone on a lot longer than I thought it was. So I'm going to make a 2-part video here. This one's just going to be about advanced telepathy, and I'm going to make another video about advanced telekinesis. But you will learn everything about what it is to be a panther. And a panther will learn everything what it is to be a human through you. You will learn this together. This cycle will work together. And when I start talking about advanced telekinesis later, you're going to learn that how you're going to be able to adapt your body and use the abilities that the panther uses, because you'll understand how their movements work, how everything they do, you'll be able to understand it through the panther's eyes. Kind of like the movie Beastmaster. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where he's able to see through the animal's eyes. You'd be able to see through, just like you have remote viewing, per se, with humans. Now you're able to have that with your spirit beast. Whatever that animal sees, when that animal goes somewhere and you open up that telepathic connection with them, you'll be able to see what they're seeing. And guess what? They'll be able to see what you're seeing too. It'll be a symbiotic connection between you and your spirit animal, which also means most likely a lot of humans will stop eating meat. And why do I say that? First of all these torture farms, and that's what they are. They're torture farms. They torture the animals, keeping them all locked up in a tight space, feeding them, industrializing them, doing this to sentient beings, life, creatures who live, who are born, who want to play as babies, as animals, and they're born into a tight little packet area, and they don't know what's going on. All they know is that they're in this space with all these other animals that are just like them, and they're just packaged in this little area, and somebody comes along and throws feed at them. Now, we can eat now. We can eat. We just can't eat whenever we want to, but we eat whenever these other beings come here and they just give us food. Now we get to eat. Oh gosh, we're so hungry all day. Now we get to eat. We get to drink. Maybe there's no water and somebody forgets to give them the water for a couple days or whatever. All these type of things that they're feeling, advanced telepathy, you'd feel it too. You would feel all of that. Cows going to the slaughter, they know it's going to happen. They know because the cows before them who have been slaughtered, the pain that they're feeling, other cows can hear this. They can sense it. Animals sense death. And in these torture kill farms, they all know what's coming. And the humans are disconnected from that, so it makes it easy for them to do it. For some humans, the very few. And with advanced telepathy, that will never, ever, ever happen. Because each animal that is slaughtered by a human's hand, humans will feel it. Now, I'm not saying that animals out in the wild will not kill each other and do all that and stuff. That is where you are going to want to disconnect, and you will not want to be a part of that. And that's part of the memories that you won't want to be a part of. You won't want to see your panther out there killing a sloth, right? You won't want to be a part of that. You won't want to feel that, That will be something that, you will just kind of avoid, because that's their nature. That's what they do. That's how they live. But animals won't attack humans, right? There will be no humans being attacked by animals. And if you haven't seen my video where I show telepathy with animals underwater, well, you can see humans right now today swimming with sharks. This one man, he has been swimming with this massive shark. I'm not talking to some nurse shark or whatever like that. We're talking about a real big, massive shark that could just bite him in half, right? And for 20 years, this man has been going out into the wild and spending time with this shark that comes back to him and finds him and seeks him out in the ocean, not kept in some, torture play box for an amusement. That's another thing too. Zoos, that would go away. There would be no more zoos. There wouldn't be any places where, if you want to go see animals, you just go to where they're at and you go out into the wild and you experience and you be there with them. You won't have to keep them locked up in a cage like you keep humans locked up in a cage. Humans have, right now, humans without their advanced telepathy have a very big disconnect of what it's like to be in a cage if they've never been in a cage, right? Those humans who are police officers or zookeepers and stuff like that, who have never been kept in a cage, they don't know what it's like. They can kind of get the idea of what it's like, but they really don't know what it's like. And let's be honest, there has been since the time jails have been created, there have been times people have been falsely imprisoned since the very first jail was created. Let's be honest about that. Everybody who's been incarcerated is not guilty of stuff that they've done. Otherwise, you wouldn't have these lawsuits and stuff like that, where people say, hey, they found out through DNA and all this or whatever or somebody finally comes forward and says that this has never happened, One person to suffer that is one too many. And that's a problem with the humanity, that disconnect to be able to just do that. The same thing with slaughtering animals. So most likely people would stop eating meat. And I'm not saying that all people would stop eating meat. When some animals become to the point where when they're about to die, maybe an animal will connect with humans and want to offer themselves to that human. When I die and my body when my spirit has gone to peace away from this, this fleshy body, I want you to consume it. You and your family to consume the rest of this body. And so I'm not saying that won't happen. That may be a possibility. It may be a thing that still happens, but it won't be because of kidnapping and slaughter. It will be because of a connection with that animal. You raise chickens, you love chickens, chickens love you. You guys have all kinds of, you spend so much time together and you understand a chicken. You have telepathy connections with all the little chickens in your home or wherever you live at, or wherever you're at. And when the chicken's lifespan, which is a lot shorter than a human's lifespan, and that chicken dies, maybe that chicken has this type of connection that when I go, I don't want to just have my body be left into the ground, but I want to further connect with my human spirit, your spirit animal. And they want you, and some people may think that this is kind of morbid, but there may be in a different way. Like the Native Americans, I'm pretty sure, believed in a lot of this. And I think that the Indians from India also believed in this, and probably in other cultures as well. and that when they naturally die and pass away, then maybe that human doesn't process the body. Maybe they just can't even find themselves to do it, but there are people who will do it for them. So, okay, I'll do that for you. I'll prepare your spirit animal for you, so that way you can, gain life from, eating that animal and stuff like that. So yeah, I know it sounds kind of crazy, guys, but if you think about it in that way, it's definitely says that some people will still continue to eat meat, and that will be probably the way they do eat the meat, or suddenly some animal dies for some reason or whatever, and decide to eat that animal or whatever. So it also says too, people who are connected to a spirit animal, that may be the only type of meat that they'll ever eat. They won't eat any other meat. Like if the panther grows old and that panther dies, and I don't know how well panther meat may taste, but maybe they have this connection where they want that human to eat the meat. Now this also says too that maybe when the human dies and their spirit animals out in the jungle that are with them, their spirit family of panthers that are with, maybe when they die, they want the panthers to eat them. So think of that too. So now that they become, they don't just leave the fleshy body just to be buried into the earth, to go back to the earth, but maybe they want the animal to consume the rest of their body once their soul spirit has left that vessel, and they leave it behind, and they leave it as an offering for, and I'm not talking about sacrifice. That's not what I'm talking about. They leave it behind for the animals. And so that the panthers now will eat off of that body for a while, and they won't have to go out and kill other animals, because now they're ingesting their spirit human that they were connected to. It's another way to look at advanced telepathy. I know it's kind of maybe a morbid thing that other people won't want to think about, but hey, this advanced telepathy is a lot more deeper than what humans have ever put out there, right? Like, people just talk about telepathy by just invading somebody's privacy, by just, finding somebody who's missing, or trying to sell you something or whatever. They have it for a lot of malicious ways. That's what they want it for a lot of malicious ways, or to steal secrets from another government. This is all garbage. This is garbage. This is not what advanced telepathy is, and it's not what telepathy is actually truly at its core being, what it's supposed to be for sentient beings to share telepathy together. So let's move on. All right, so we talked about animals and learning from them. Let's see, you're connecting. Okay. Connect with other beings visiting your planet. Okay, so now we've talked about being from as a fetus and going to 8 years old, 12 years old, and by the time you're an adult, you're connected with everyone. We talked about the telepathic wave. We talked about now connecting with animals and understanding animals and telepathically communicating with animals. And I'm going to get deeper into that. And when I mean deep, I mean in the ocean, when I start talking about telekinesis in the next video. So let's talk about other beings that visit the planet. So we have people out there now today who are charlatans, who are saying, hey, look, I can, for if you buy into my program, I can teach you how to telepathically connect with aliens in spaceships flying overhead. First of all, there's no way to prove that they're actually having telepathic connections, or they're just having the mental episodes in their own minds until they actually have a alien land in front of them. We can put it on television, and everybody can see that this says, hey, we've been connecting with this person. We're talking to them and stuff like that. Until then, it all can be imagination, right? You have to give something solid instead of just saying that you're having telepathic connections. Now, with real advanced telepathy, you will be able to actually really connect with aliens who are coming to your planet, beings who are coming to your planet, and other beings that are coming from other dimensions. They won't just be sneaking up on you and sneaking around and stuff. You'll be able to telepathically connect with them. So there won't be a miscommunication for the most part. I mean, you can't really say what all their intentions are of coming to your planet or coming to your dimension or whatever. But for the most part, communications will already be open. Because most of the advanced species that are out there They have telepathy. And for the species that come to your planet that don't have telepathy at all, let's say that they don't have it. Let's say it was taken from them, or they just never were a part of a sentient being that would ever have telepathy. Now, humans, we know, have telepathy. This is not an imaginary thing. Like I said, we go all the way back to your ears must have been burning, right? We know that humans already have telepathy, and we know that some humans experience it more than others. Nowhere near advanced of what I'm talking about. So let's say some beings do come here from another planet and they don't have telepathy at all. They don't even understand the concept. There's never been a thing in their culture on their planet where they come from of, oh, your ears must have been burning, because it's never been a thing to ever happen. So there never was a point to ever make it a cliche thing to say or whatever. I forgot how they say when somebody, like people would say, what comes around goes around, those type of talking points that people often, common phrases that people use, right? So let's say they come from another planet where they don't have that at all, right? And they come to your planet. Well, you're going to be able to read their intentions. You're automatically going to be able to know things that they're trying to keep from you, because you'll be able to penetrate and get inside their mind. So it makes you easier to understand how to deal with them. This is what happened to the human species. This is happening to you right now. Advanced alien species are here and they're able to do that to you. Now, there's another thing too. What if those beings are coming here and they mean you harm? They mean to take your planet over. Well, with advanced telepathy, and I mean real advanced telepathy, and you're able to use that, you'll be able to use that against them. You'll be able to make them see things that aren't even there. You'll be able to make them not see you if you don't want them to see you. Literally can vanish in front of their eyes. Just like I talked about with the invisible girl. Maybe it's not that she makes her body turn invisible. Maybe it's just that she actually uses telepathy to make you think that she's not there anymore. Everybody doesn't see her anymore. They can also do this with ships and all kinds of things. Maybe even a strong collective telepathic wave can make an entire planet disappear. There's an invasion coming. We know that they're coming this way. The entire community of all the humans on the planet, I'm just going to use the number 8 billion. 8 billion people using this whole telepathic wave. We all come together to make that planet disappear. They don't see it. They literally don't see it. The planet hasn't disappeared. The humans haven't disappeared. But the beings who are not telepathic, they don't have any telepathy and don't understand telepathy, go, well, I guess we took a wrong turn because there's no planet there. Or maybe they see now the planet was destroyed, or instead of seeing the planet there, oh shit, there's a black hole there. Let's avoid going there because there's a black hole, which also may explain why humans even see black holes. It could be also a thing too. So, this is what advanced telepathy is. And this is how you can use it with even beings coming from other planets and beings coming from other dimensions. And a further and an extreme advancement of telepathy. Those who are at a point in the rare people who are going to be so much further advanced in telepathy, like the rare telepaths, will be able to connect with beings in other dimensions. And think of how powerful that is. Without even ever being there, they'll be able to connect. So some people, there'll be rare occasions where not everybody can do it, but rare occasions where some humans are able to connect with beings in other dimensions and now share that information with everybody else. Not that they keep it to themselves, they'd share it with everybody else. Hey, look, there's this other dimension, and this is what I saw over there, and this is what, and there won't be no lying. People who lie, that will be gone. That won't even be a thing. Like there'd be no point in lying. Lying to somebody would be absolutely pointless. You won't have to deceive people. So yeah, this is advanced telepathy. And let's see here. Last thing I have on my list, it says, when you pass away, if you become a strong telepath, you will carry over in reincarnation. Okay, so the very last thing. So now I talked about, I got to go through the list here. I talked about being in the mother, as a fetus in the mother's belly, their telepathy from the very beginning. as an 8-year-old, as a 12-year-old, becoming an adult, join a telepathic wave, being telepathically connected to animals, and then using your telepathy with other beings coming from other planets, and being able to connect with beings in other realms. Now, when you die, when you pass away, what happens? Reincarnation. Reincarnation happens. And so this does not apply to the humans who are here on this planet who do not understand any of this stuff. They just can't. It's something that they can't understand because they're literally, they are, the subhuman. And I know it sounds awful, but there are humans who literally are not at all a sentient being. Some reason they're born and they literally have to follow guidelines of what they're supposed to be until death, and that's it. And there will never be anything more. They're literally like a filler in the recipe. They're a filler in the dog food. They're not and you might think, oh, this is awful to say. Get over it. Accept it. That's just what it is. And you can see it, like you can tell everything they're going to say before they say it because they fall in the box that they check. So this won't apply to them. But for those of you who are true sentient beings, this applies to you. When you die, you don't go to a magical heaven place. Oh, I just want to get out of here. I want to go someplace else. Maybe it's possible that, especially if Earth was full of the advanced telepathy, you come right back. You want to come back, right? You come back. And maybe you come back to Earth, or maybe you go to another planet or to the other dimension that you want to go to. Or you just put it up as a crapshoot. When you die and your spirit passes from that body, that flesh body, that you just kind of throw it to the universe. Wherever I land is where I'm going to be. I like that. That's where I want to be. Wherever I land is where I'm going to be. And then you get stuck on Earth. This Earth with people who have no telepathy. You're like, oh man, damn it, this is awful. This is a bad move. I shouldn't. This is the trap. This is like a soul trap here, right? So those people, with advanced telepathy, and if you don't end up in a soul trap place like Earth now, but Earth without the restraints of taking your telepathy and your telekinesis away from you, if you come back born again with having memories of your previous life through advanced telepathy. Advanced telepathy, you're able to carry that through that wave. So maybe you not want to leave the planet. Maybe you want to stay on this planet because it's easier to reconnect with your memories of who you were and what you did, because it's still out there in that wave. All the people that remember you, all the people that experienced the things with you, all the experiences that you wanted to share with them, it'll be there so that when you're born again back into this world with advanced telepathy, that you will remember that's who I was. And that's what my life was like. And you remember all of that stuff. And you'll have a new life, but you'll be able to pick up on things that will no longer be lost, like information. Every time, you guys know I'm a martial artist. Every time that somebody who was a very old martial artist that I would have known, or somebody I didn't get a chance to meet, would pass away, I would be sad because there was so much knowledge that person retained that they didn't get a chance to share. Their time had expired. It ran out. So there was a lot more stuff that they could have shared. And also the fact that, things that they did share was only with the people that there was in the vicinity or whatever and stuff like that. That wasn't like in this telepathic wave. Imagine that won't be a thing anymore. People pass away and it won't be a moment of sorrow. People most likely will not be sad, really, or as depressed. Maybe they'll be like some type of sadness, but not really the same as what we deal with now. It's trauma. Right now, you deal with death and loss as a traumatic moment. That will never, ever, ever happen with advanced telepathy, because you already understand that that person is going to be reincarnated somewhere else, maybe here, maybe somewhere else, wherever they choose to go, and they won't lose everything unless they get stuck. Like, oh, please, whatever you do, please don't let me get stuck on Earth with these overrulers who have taken the advanced telepathy and telekinesis. Please don't let me get stuck there. Maybe you go back to where you, and so it won't be, death won't be a saddened thing. It'll be like, oh, your body was given out anyhow. You've been around for 400 years, which I'm going to talk about that later in the telekinesis and how that's possible. Now, you've been around for 400 years and that body finally is given out, and it is time for you to be reborn and rebirth. And I can't wait to find you again in this world when you are reborn. And with that, I hope you understand more about advanced telepathy and what it's been taken with you, and enjoy the rest of the time that you have left. Welcome. You can call me Radix, the ultra neutral, the one from 72. Doing more and more research and more digging, it now is more apparent to me that we are in a natural reality dealing with an alien species that has hacked time, and because of that, they have left a huge piece of evidence, which is the year 1972, and how that year actually connects to the year 2020, and how I am the only person in the world that is educating people and bringing the message, and was able to predict the election in 2020 through great detail, as well as other predictions that also came true that have to do with looking at the year 1972 and the time hack and how it affected the year 2020, and will lead us into civil war, as well as a galactic war that is clearly upon all of us, that is coming down. And you'll see that evidence by coming here and looking at the evidence that I present. I'm also going to be teaching you things about how flying saucers work, things about different alien species like the reptilians, the Anunnaki, and about the Greys, because I myself had a reptilian experience where my mind was unlocked, and that is one of the great reasons why I'm able to present all of this knowledge, because up until the year 2017, when my mind was unlocked, not long after that, I was starting to able to see the holes in the reality, see all the connections of the things that were going on that led to a time hack, which tells us learn from them and push forward as humanity, and not to suppress one another and suppress our own species. So if you're ready to have your mind unlocked, if you're ready to receive the message that nobody else in the world is talking about, if you're ready to see the truth, if you're ready to understand and look at the evidence, then welcome to Rat X Files.